I'm Polina Dolishna, Language and Research Assistant at Science and Space, and I would like to feature the presentation MICROLINE-UNIVERSAL. Justification of launch vehicle production. People all over the world are trying to develop and exploit ultralight meteorological launch vehicles, though such devices weigh several tons. A rocket is designed for repeated use, weighing less than half a ton. Consequently, the cost of one launch will be much lower compared to competitors targeted at high orbits. A space rocket complex is designed to serve the world's leading universities engaged in atmospheric research and studies of the lower boundary of space. According to preliminary estimates, customers may be 12,000 universities from the United States, China, the European Union, and other countries. The use of military technology for peaceful purposes allows to launch a civilian carrier rocket at low price without a specially equipped spaceport. Project description. This is a reusable single-stage sounding carrier rocket. Launch of the rocket by the force of steam formed under the action of liquid propellant rocket engines. The flight control of the launch vehicle is carried out by deviation of the liquid propellant rocket engine in the same plane. The use of gas nozzles to rotate the launch vehicle around the longitudinal axis. The orbiter has its own propulsion system to achieve altitude and range. Here we can see some technical specifications like number of stages, diameter, length, lift-off weight, weight of the fuel, thrust in a vacuum, and type of launch. And this is technical specifications of the orbiter. Same points as on the previous slide. I'll give you some seconds to look it through. Here we can see a scheme of the carrier rocket. On the left, carrier rocket, and on the right, launch canister with water. Ballistic analysis of the orbiter flight on the suboreal trajectory. Here we can see some points like eccentricity, inclination, apogee height, apogee velocity, flight range, flight duration, impact point latitude, impact point length, absolute velocity at the end of powered portion of flight, maximum endurance, dynamic pressure, and dynamic velocity pressure. All numbers are thin on this slide. Launch of the carrier rocket. So it takes less than 5 seconds at an average overpressure of 0.573 for the rocket to come out of the container. The final velocity of the rocket exists in the container is 6.755. The water is heated by hot gas from the motor nozzle, and water volume is 3.371. Advantages of the conversion method at the launch of the carrier rocket. This is the simplest low-budget option to launch a carrier rocket without a specially equipped spaceport, so no specially equipped spaceport is needed. The initial section of the launch with zero velocity is excluded, which simplifies the missile control system at the launch. Providing the missile with the initial velocity allows to improve its characteristics. The altitude and range increase for a particular missile system by 1%. The following option is universal and can be used for the lightest launch vehicles of any type. The launch equipment of the container is designed together with the rocket. Part of the equipment is placed on the rocket itself. The energy sources of the rocket are used at the start. Advantages of the project. No additional expenditure in the construction of new ground infrastructure is needed. Providing assistance to the world's leading universities, atmospheric research and studies of the lower boundary of space, capability of the orbiter to fly the distance of 650 kilometers after separation from the launch vehicle, reuse of the rocket space complex, and low price of launching a carrier rocket compared to our competitors. Cost estimate and timetable. So the investment needed to create, design, test, and produce the first spacecraft is $9 million. According to the estimates on additional one-time cost, that would be design and manufacture of the complex system of lifting mechanisms and construction of ground infrastructure for space information management and for space vehicle control, design and production of the necessary launch and pre-launch equipment. The cost estimate for the launch vehicle production is $2 million, and term of creation is 3 years. Results of the project. Consequently, launch of small satellites would be produced by universities. The demands of numerous US countries, European member states, Latin America, Africa will be met. Effective growth in revenues from the sale of subscriber equipment in the world. Protection of investor rights. All individual intellectual property rights to the complex and its individual components will belong to investors in the proportions of shares invested in the project. Investors are entitled to only exercise the rights subject to the limitations of the missile technology control regime. So MICROLINE-UNIVERSAL gives an opportunity for the mentor of the project to join the global elite, input in the name of the history of exploration use of space, and in the medium term, not only return on investment, but also achieve great revenue. And the potential annual profit from the project can reach $20.95 million. Thank you for your attention.